We're queued up now. We're gonna hang tight tight here a little bit and wait until we get a couple people
Okay.
in. I have to hide myself, Cal.
You say you're gonna hide yourself.
Yeah, I have to. It's showing me myself over here on this side, but I have to put my little notes right in front of me. It throws me off.
Nah, I understand.
Yeah, man. Whatever it takes.
Got to get the job done, man. I
Yeah, man. I
understand.
don't know what I'm doing either, so go figure.
Hey, look, we all just in this life figuring it out, man.
Figuring it out.
One day at a time.
Yep, yep, yep. So, Kel, for those of you guys who are just joining us out there, tonight we're going to talk to this young brother that's over there doing a documentary on Coach Smith. But I want to go ahead and say welcome to the CenlaGOAT, GOAT, Kel. And then you said you want to find out what that CenlaGOAT GOAT is. We'll talk about it a little bit, but it's UrbanCast sports channel, and and that kind of thing. Today we have a special guest, an independent filmmaker, KEL Bonton. And Kel, if I got that wrong, please make sure you correct us. And I'm okay with that as well. Joining us from right here in Alexandria, Louisiana, Kel is here to discuss his latest project, a documentary highlighting the incredible career of Coach Charles Smith from Peabody Magnet High School. As a Peabody graduate himself, Kel's passion for storytelling and his admiration for Coach Smith's achievement shine through in the upcoming documentary. He isn't done with it. It's a work in process. He even said to me a few minutes ago, it might change a little bit after the night. So that's cool. Which celebrate Coach Smith's induction into the James Naismith Hall of Fame class of 2004. With that said, Kel, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the UrbanCast audience there, man?
Yes, sir, Mr. Jack. My name is KEL Bonton. It's a pleasure to be on your platform today.
Hmm?
Like you said, independent filmmaker. That's just fine with me. I own a local film production company in town called Bonton Media.
Hmm.
We do a wide range of projects from advertising to commercial work to documentary filmmaking to feature filmmaking, all kind of cool and fun stuff. I'm just trying to use the gifts that God's given me to give him glory and to help others. That's my mission.
All right. Well, Kel, thank you for joining us today. Can you tell us what inspired you to create this documentary on Coach Smith and his
Yeah.
impact at Peabody?
Yeah, absolutely. So where do I start? So the idea for this documentary, I would say, came to me a few years ago. I was actually working on another documentary with some of my classmates, and we were traveling around Louisiana, capturing high school football players on their journey to making it to a D1 college and hopefully to the NFL.
Hmm.
And I was able to get some, hands-on experience and behind the scenes on some pretty big sets and stuff like that, documenting these kids. And the thought came to me, I was like, man, it would be awesome to do a documentary on Coach Smith.
Hmm.
He's a At that time he was already a legendary coach, and um, I was wondering, how could I be a part of that? And
Hmm.
at that time, I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't even think of myself as the person to do it. I was thinking like, maybe I can reach out to some people to come together, come down and do this documentary.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so some years had passed, and I kind of got over that idea. At a certain point, I got to the point of, how it is when you think, uh, who else is gonna do it? If I don't do it, who else is gonna do it? And I kind of took it upon myself to make it my mission to tell this story. And at that time, I was already working with the school a lot. I was doing a lot of hype videos for the basketball team. So me and Coach had already had a great relationship and bond that we were building just on promoting the team in general. And I thought a documentary was so fitting at the time to just start capturing them.
Mhm.
And we actually started filming our first big day was the Night of Champions. And I don't know if a lot of people saw the promo video, but I produced a kind of like a trailer of Coach talking about the Night of Champions, which was an annual game that he does every year that he kind of, features his championship teams over the years. And,
Mhm.
and this past year was special because he invited all of his past players to come back to, the Emerald Palace to celebrate this monument of all the championships that they had won. So in my mind, that was going to be the climax of the documentary.
Uh-huh.
But God says something different because I don't think any of us expected for them to, after that, go on to the playoff run, go on
Mhm.
to the semifinals, win the semifinals, go on to the finals and win Peabody's 10th state championship.
Right.
So that was an amazing addition, and that kind of really jump started the documentary in a sense.
In a and actually I thought you had started, I rewind all the way back to that football game you and I ran into each other at
Yeah.
when they opened up the new turf field and all of that kind of good stuff. So I thought you had been really just scouting everything out all along, and I was like, okay, all right, all right, all right. Okay, that's cool. As a Peabody graduate, how does Coach Smith's journey resonate with you personally, and why did you feel compelled to share his story through film?
Yeah, so I graduated from Peabody class of 2008.
Mhm.
So Coach Smith was my advanced math teacher.
Okay.
So I knew him, like most people that have gone to Peabody, they've gone through Coach Smith's math class.
Uh huh.
So I already knew, the type of guy that he was in the classroom and then on the court as well, because um, Peabody is always known for their, legendary sport accolades. So
Hmm.
just
Hmm.
that pride and that I guess recognition just comes with being a student at the school.
Hmm.
Um, so at this point in my life, with me being able to, do the things that I do for is like working with different people, covering different individuals with documentary and commercial work, it
Hmm.
just made a lot of sense for me to feature somebody that's from our city and
Hmm.
somebody who's made an impact on me personally myself.
Hmm.
So it just made sense to me, and I'm honored to have this opportunity to tell Coach's story.
Yeah, right. But look, man, I tell you what, I agree with you. I had Ernest Bowman, Coach Ernest Bowman, as
Yeah, shout out to
my
Coach Bowman.
yeah, as my math teacher. So, and I know they were two peas in a pod back in the day in 1984. So, I feel you there. I feel you. Coach Smith's recent induction into the James Smith Hall of Fame, class of 2004, is a monumental achievement. How does this honor elevate the significance of your documentary project?
Man, Mr. Jack, it elevates it immensely. And that's another thing that was kind of unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever we set out to do this documentary, like I was telling you, in my mind, the climax was going to be the Night of Champions. That
Right,
moment to me was so powerful because if you can imagine, we were all in the library, right?
right,
And
right.
he had about, I don't know, maybe 100 of his past players from all the way from the 70s all the way to the recent times.
Mm-hmm.
And coach, in that moment, not to give away too much about, what we're going to cover in the documentary, but it was a very special moment to see all the lives that coach had touched over the years. And that's really the essence of the documentary. It's not about the wins or it's not about the championships, although it's a part of it, but the main heart of the documentary is the lives that he's able to captivate and change over the course of his 50 plus years being a coach and being a teacher. So when it comes to when he got um, selected for the Naismith Hall of Fame, that was just icing on the cake.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a so deserving accomplishment for somebody who's been so diligent for so many years, been so steadfast to his goal and his mission to really touch young men throughout the generations.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I can only imagine it because I tell you what, when they when we started talking about the potential for the induction into the Naismith Hall of Fame, um, the first thing you start thinking, this guy is in the likes of a Michael Jordan and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
and that's where your mind, it wandered off to that, and it's like, wow, wow. Can you share some insights into Coach Smith's coaching style and the legacy he has built at Peabody Magnet High School over the years?
Yeah. So although I wasn't a basketball player,
Hmm.
but just being a Peabody student and being an alumni, you know that the legacy is a legacy of excellence. It's an
Hmm.
expectation of excellence, not only on the court but off the court.
That's right.
And even from past players that I've talked to in the time that we've been doing the documentary, and I'm gonna get a chance to talk to a lot more. They
Hmm.
all say the same thing.
Yeah.
Coach Smith's his expectations have always been high
Hmm.
because he sees the potential in all his players and all his students, and he wants us to be successful. So he pushes us to the point to where sometimes we don't even know how far we can go.
That's right.
And I'm gonna share a little moment. So we was out in Phoenix, Arizona, and
Hmm.
when the coach was getting acknowledged and everything, and we looked out, it was a stadium during the Final Four weekend of like 60,000 people. And coach, he turned to me and he was like, see, this is what I try to get my boys to see, to think outside the box, the possibilities that's out there. And
Hmm.
he's somebody, he always says, I'm just a, a guy who came from a little town called Taylor Hill.
Right.
And look at him now, like you said, in the lights of the Michael Jordans, the Magic Johnsons, the Chauncey Billups, the Vince Carters, and he didn't set out to do any of that. Let him tell it.
Yeah.
And the way that God's blessed him, over the years for him, doing what he's done from a genuine place just to help, students transcend from their situation in some cases, transcend from this area, whether it be whatever, restrictions or whatever things that they had, challenges that they may have had. He was able to push them and make them believe that they could do something more. And he not only did that, but he also is an example himself.
That's right. That's right. I have to 100% agree with you on that idea that is always about the boys. You know what I mean? I mean, anytime you're sitting back and you're talking to them, it's all about what the potential they have to achieve. Um, I know the conversations I've had with him, it's always been the same thing, man. And when you talk to the the former players, um, just to hear those young men talk about, him being that father figure and that kind of thing, and he's got all of that calculating into, you know, making sure that they're doing really good at school, and in some cases, these young men are taking care of family as they leave. They finish school, they go to practice, and then they go to work, and then the next day they
Right.
start that same thing over again. And to and to know that he's nurtured engineers, doctors, lawyers in the works. It definitely it speaks volumes to what he's been doing over there. What challenges did you face, Kel, in capturing the essence of and I know you're not done, the essence of Coach Smith's career, and translating that into a compelling documentary?
Yeah. So my motto with this project, all my projects, really, but especially with this one is, I'll tell you that God is the one that's directing this documentary.
uh,
I'm just sitting back filming it.
uh-huh.
It it's been Mr. Jack, it's like everything has been in so much of a God's alignment with this whole project, even from uh, getting us the access to be at the semifinals and the state finals, having that all access to be able to be on the court filming these games. I
Hmm.
mean, we're getting exclusive footage that, right beside the news and everything else. And, even to have access to be in Arizona at the Final Four game, right
Yeah.
beside Coach, right beside, Chauncey Billups, right beside Vince Carter, right beside Doug Collins, Michael Cooper, right there. I'm talking to him. I'm getting footage with, them interacting with Coach and all that stuff. Like God has allowed, us to really captivate this moment in time that we'll never get back, and we're able to document this and to show people for generations and generations what was going on at this time. It's been a blessing, and I'm like I tell Coach all the time, and I'm so honored that he even thought of me to be able to be the one to tell this story at this time.
I think he got the right guy to do it, man. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Thank you. I
Coach,
appreciate that.
all right, yeah. Coach Smith led Peabody to his 10th state basketball championship this season. The 10th.
Yes.
He hit double digits for Peabody's history. 9 in his leadership as head coach, but one there when Coach Bowman was there. But
Yes.
so they hit the double digits over at the mighty Peabody. How did you incorporate that milestone? And because that again, you said you thought it was stopping at the Night of Champions, and heck, it went to those finals, those different stages within the game, and then on to win the championship. How did you just end up having to deal with that, bro?
Right, right. And like I said, I'm not gonna go too far into everything about the documentary, but I will tell people this to it's an exciting thing, and I'm excited to be able to bring this story to people and just imagine like this ride that we're gonna be able to take you guys on because from the Night of Champions leading up to really a dramatic series. Both the semifinals and the finals were both dramatic games, and with the state championship winning in a game-winning three-pointer, I mean, Steven Spielberg couldn't have wrote that script no better than that. And this is real life that we was able to capture. So, like I say, it's so much of a God thing. Coach Smith said that this was a miracle year for him, with so many things, just happening. I laugh all the time because he's like, it's like one of those dreams that you wondering if you're gonna wake up from.
Yeah,
And I've been right along with a lot of these things, and I feel like I won a state championship, that I'm up for Nate Smith, because I think we have a sense of pride and we have a sense of camaraderie around Coach Smith, because he's one of us. He comes from this
yeah,
area, and he really shows us that, wow, you can be from this area and do great things.
that's
Like
right.
the place that you're from is not what's holding you back. It's just about your mentality and what you say that you want to do and what you make up your mind to do.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And my sister was at the championship game, and she said that the room just kind of like the hardwood. She said it was just like it was one of those moments that you just never you couldn't imagine that little young man hit that 3-pointer,
Right, right.
and right then and there history had been made. You know what I mean? It's like
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. In your opinion, what sets Coach Smith apart from other basketball coaches? I know, like in some of your commercial work that you're doing, you get the opportunity to work with these various teams and what have you. What do you believe is his lasting impact on the sport here in Central Louisiana? Even because I even had, just a couple of days ago, I had the opportunity to speak to a group of young men, and they play for other teams, and they admire Coach Smith. You know what I mean? So it's
Right.
not like it's just the Peabody students that he's got their attention. He got all of them.
Right, right. I think, in my opinion, I think it's just the legacy and the amount of time that he's been doing it, And
Mhm.
he says he's been teaching for over 50 years. And think about this, is almost majority of his years has been right at Peabody.
Right at Peabody.
So it's really a rare thing to see somebody not only in their profession teaching for over 50 years, but also being in the same school, dealing with the same community for over the years and all the generations that is impacted. He was there coaching and teaching when my father was there.
Mm.
So he's touched so many generations, and I think that's what makes him different than a lot of other coaches, in my opinion. Just the longevity and the dedication to Peabody and the legacy that he's built right there.
Can you I'm gonna push you a little bit, Kel. Can you share any memorable moments or anecdote? Kind of give us a little glimpse, because that anticipation of seeing the final work is already there, man. So you got to give us
Yeah.
a little. I told people we got an exclusive with you. You got to give us a little hint. I'm gonna let you leave it nice.
Yeah, yeah. Laura willing, we'll come back and we'll talk about it in more depth when we finish the documentary.
Uh-huh.
But what I can say is, I mean, I'll say this again. God has really had His hand on this documentary, and
Mhm.
uh, I've been really blessed to be in a position to capture these candid moments with Coach. I've been there to walk right with him into these, rooms and into these places, and to meet these, NBA players or Hall of Fame coaches, and he's respected in the same light, just as them, just the respect and the esteem that they have for him when they meet him, just
Mhm.
because what he's built is it's the real deal. It's
Mhm.
not fabricated, and it's something to be respected, and it's something to look up to. And Coach, he gives all honor to God,
Mhm.
and I think somebody like that, uh, it's just you just want to see them win. It's a good thing to see him achieve these high levels. And like he says, he didn't. It's not something that he set out to do, and that's something that some people may think is hard to believe. With one of the most winningest coaches of all time, you would think that all he cares about is winning, but that's the total opposite of
Mhm.
what his motives are. His motives is to impact the youth and to impact these kids that he has the opportunity to touch. And as a byproduct of that, all this success has come to him.
Yeah.
And I would share what my I guess one of my goals is with this documentary is to really take people on a journey to unfold how we got to this point, because people see the Naismith Award, they see the Hall of Fame, they see Coach, ninth state championship,
Mhm.
school's 10th state championship. But how did we get here? How did we get from this coach that came into Peabody in the 70s to
Right.
now being, cemented himself in the history books forever? I want to take people on that ride.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. That's absolutely fair. What do you hope the viewers would take away from watching your documentary, there, Kel? At the end of the day, when we do get the opportunity to see it, what you want us to take away from it?
Yeah, I'm praying that it's an inspiration to everybody, and I'm praying that when people watch it, that they'll, especially for the students of Peabody and alumni, that it'll take them back to the time when they was walking in the halls of Ivy and heard Coach Smith's voice, whether it be calling them and telling them to go to class or teaching them something or coaching them. I want them to feel that sense of nostalgia and that sense of pride, and really big up um one of our living legends. It's hard to mention Peabody and not think of Coach Smith.
That's right. That is absolutely Kate. And and the other thing, that Kel, is that when you hear him talk, he talk. He's always proud of his the young men that are part of the basketball team. But at the pep rally after the state championship, and even today, covering, and a big shout out to Mr. Barnes and Mr. Matthews over there too. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
proud of
uh,
them guys, man. So proud of them. I told them that I'm so proud of them. Like I said, a lot of those guys I'm able to build relationships with too, because they see me around filming them, and they get excited and they love, being featured, and they love the fact they like, yeah, we're gonna be on Netflix. And I'm like, maybe you never know. You never know. And I think
yeah.
for them, this is definitely life changing for them, and it gives them that extra boost to, wow, like if I can do this, I wonder what else I can do, and
What
that's
else?
that's all it does. It just opens up the imagination. It opens up their mind to bigger and better things.
That's what I was about to say. that idea that he's just not hitting the basketball students at Peabody, but all of the kids across the board remember their interactions with Coach Smith. You know what I mean? And
Right.
and that idea of him saying, "Hey, this trophy is not about the basketball team. It's not about me. It's about y'all. Y'all are the ones who made all of this possible." So that,
Yes.
yeah, and he always say that. Lastly, what's next? Lastly, I'm gonna say this. What's next for you after completing this documentary, Kel? I know you got something over there you're thinking about. Do you have any future projects in mind that you want to go ahead and let these listeners over here know about, so they'll be on their pens and cues waiting on it?
Yeah, so I mean, we're always working on different projects, from commercial work to documentary work. Really, I'm just so excited about this Coach Smith documentary. We're investing a lot of time and a lot of resources into trying to bring people the most authentic representation of coach that we can. So I'm gonna be working on this, diligently as long as God will allow me to, and I want to let people know that I'm gonna take my time with it. I'm gonna take a lot of care with it. It's something that we're taking a lot of pride in, because I do understand the amount of impact that this can make on the community to really tell coach's story in an
Hmm.
authentic and a truthful way. And I'm burdened with the task, but I'm also excited because I'm honored to have this opportunity. So I'm just so excited about
Yeah, look at him, and he's lurking tonight too, Kel. He just
that.
said, "This young man, Mr. Bonton, is truly best and gifted. It's been my pleasure to work with this young visionary and humble young man. This is why I teach," is what he just said, bro. That's Coach Smith himself.
Love Coach Smith, man.
Yeah.
One of a kind, one of a kind.
Before we leave, Kel, do you have anything you'd like to say to our listeners over here at on the new CenlaGOAT and UrbanCast?
Yeah, so again, I just want to thank you, Mr. Jack, for giving me this opportunity to, share some of the things that we're doing.
Hmm.
I know we couldn't go in too much depth. I hope I gave you a little taste, something that we could kind of take and look forward to in the future. But I
Hmm.
hope to, definitely keep people posted and up to date on all the things that we have coming up. We're going
Hmm.
to be doing some things to get the community involved as well, because I definitely want this to be uh, a community involvement thing, and we
What's up?
want to use this as an opportunity to get the community together, because, we telling the story of one of our own. We also want to use this as an opportunity to give back to the school as well, and that's something that I'm gonna kind of talk about as the months and things unfold on how we're going to use this as an opportunity to give back to Peabody, because the goal is to reach back to our youth and to help empower them and to help inspire them, and that's our vision. I know that's coach's vision, that's my vision as well.
Yeah, when you think about the objectives of Sankofa, it's always to reach back and take care of. You know what I mean? And so, you guys doing it without, you're just doing it, you're just taking care, doing what we normally do, take care of each other. Uh,
Yes, sir.
yep, yep. Kel, I definitely want to say thank you for joining us today and sharing your insights into, your inspiring documentary project about Coach Smith. Your dedication to preserving Coach Smith's legacy and celebrating his induction into the James Naismith Hall of Fame class of 2024 is truly commendable. We are eagerly anticipating the release of your documentary and wish you continued success in your filmmaking endeavors. Keep this fantastic work up, man. And in addition to that, Kel, anytime you want to release something, give us that little dribble out there. Feel free to just shoot it on over to us, and we'll put it as a stream, keep it as a minute, keep it down to a minute. I'm sure you can take care of that, Pete. You can
Most
go ahead.
definitely.
You can go ahead and optimize it for the screen size on a reel, and just shoot it to us. It'll be our pleasure to make sure we get it out there to the public. How about that?
We'll do. I'll take you up on that.
All right, make me make Damon, Steve, and I, keep our word on that. All right, and
Yes, sir.
just send it to us, and we right here along with you on that journey, man.
Absolutely. Thank you again for having me, and God bless.
All right. Hold on one second, Kel. I definitely want to say thank you to everyone who chimed in and are listening, and the folk who will come back and listen to this broadcast, a little bit later. We definitely want to say thank you to everybody. And we're going to go ahead and chime on out of here right now.